If I knew all it took was an old lady to like brush the hair out of my eyes to give me Thor's powers, I would have let it happen so much more often when I was a kid.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to our channel. My name is Elena.
I'm Bjorn.
And we're Viking Age reenactors and living historians here to talk with you about your favorite Viking shows.
We have finished with Norsemen. We had a great time watching it, but it's altogether too short. But we had a poll, the votes are in, and you all wanted us to watch Ragnarok.
On Netflix.
On Netflix. So before I start trying to stumble my way through an explanation of what the show is, let's watch it. It's so pretty. So they didn't do subtitles for whatever he said. They're not going to teach us swears?
Apparently not.
I want to learn swears. Also, he looks like a little like high school version of Graven Wormtongue.
He does a lot.
I want to hear him swear. Whatever. It's fine. That was in English.
That was English. Calm down.
That was a cool effect in the eyes. Is he gonna like start the car with his like Thor magic?
So it's been a few months since we reviewed the trailer for Ragnarok. But one of the points that we made back then that I think is worth kind of repeating here, Magna is one of Thor's son's names in Norse mythology. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he is named after Thor's son and right after whatever just happened, it starts raining. I think that's a little bit of a tell about what we're in for. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So Thor had multiple children. I believe he had about 3, but one of the main ones that we hear about is Magna. And supposedly, according to the mythology, Magna and a couple other like minor gods or just like subservient roles in the mythology survive Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. And actually come into existence in the new world when it gets remade, essentially. So it's pretty interesting that they're, obviously kind of playing off of that. We don't know if this is like a retelling of Ragnarok or if it's some kind of throwback or if he's just going to be taking the role of Thor in Ragnarok. It's also weird because like we don't know how he got his powers. Like the woman just did like a weird like...
It's the magic touch of Norway.
If I knew all it took was an old lady to like brush the hair out of my eyes to give me Thor's powers, I would have let it happen so much more often when I was a kid. Like if that's all it took, I'd be all about it. I like the effect in his eyes though with the...
Yeah, that was really cool.
The lightning, that was pretty cool.
They did that really well.
Yeah.
Vi skal ta opp tråden der hvor vi litt slapp sist. Vi snakket jo om Åsatro, vikingenes religion. Vet du hva? Det er litt slutt på.
Asatru is not the religion of the Vikings. Asatru is a modern...
retelling of the Viking religion.
Yeah, it's a modern recreation of what we believe Norse paganism would have been.
Yeah.
There's no real word for what they believed in that they would have used because they didn't need a word for it.
Yeah, I think most of the time we'll just say the Norse religion.
Yeah,
because there really isn't... like you said, there isn't a word for it.
Yeah, because it was just like a part of their like culture and their society. It was just part of their life. That's what happens in small, close-off communities. Then just whatever. But as far as we know, there's no real like word for what they believed in religiously, and it just became known as paganism because paganism is just a religious belief in multiple deities. Mm-hmm. So it's a very generic term, and we specify by saying Norse pagans because there's many pagans.
Det for at Edda var den siste byen I Norge som var kristna og oppga tro på de norrøne gudene.
Ja. Ragnarok. Jordens undergang. Den siste kampen mellom gudene og jentene.
I don't know about the history of Era as a city or as a location because it's
I don't know.
Small, I guess.
I'm assuming it's real.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I'm
If it is.
interested. I'm interested to look into it to
Yeah.
find out more a little bit, because if it is historically the last place that was like pagan in Norway, that's pretty cool. I'd live there, and I can already obviously see the duality between that concept of, you know, being like the last bastion of an old pagan belief and kind of tying that to Ragnarok, you know, the end of the gods.
Yeah.
Where it's essentially like the moment the gods die out, because
Yeah.
they're the last like foothold that the religion had, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think one other good thing to note here, a lot of the times when people talk about Ragnarok, they're talking about the end of the gods, the end of the world, you know, kind of the end of everything. One of the things that's kind of important to keep in mind is that they didn't so much think of it as the end of the world. It's sort of, it was the end of a cycle. You know, like you said earlier, you know, Thor's children and other lesser gods survived Ragnarok and brought in a new era of, you know, kind of like a fresh era of, you know, the gods and the continuation of life and everything like that. Ragnarok is the end of a lot of things, but it's not the end of the world. And
Yeah.
the cycle begins again. So every time I hear somebody say, you know, it's the end of the world, I'm just like, it's not.
Yeah, and
I want to be his friend.
same. I like his lunch. What did she say the kid was? A Yotul or something like that? A Yokul?
Oh, you too.
Yotul.
You too.
I don't know what that means.
I have no idea either.
But I think it's interesting. I only bring it up because like Yotul is like a little bit reminiscent of somebody who doesn't know the language at all, of like Jotun. And also their mother, who's the principal, Ran, is one of the giants
Yeah.
in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And like had dominion over like the seas and the oceans. So little parallels all with the little school. It's just like the school is just like the gods growing up.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like
Gods are children of the gods.
yeah, it's like Muppet Babies for Norse mythology. It's weird. But it's cute.
So they swear in English.
Apparently. And like English swears are great.
Oh,
Don't
they
get me
are.
wrong.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's the one of the main reasons I'm proud to speak it as a primary language is I can just use them so effectively.
But other languages swears are also awesome. Like my all-time favorite is Finnish. You get like
You're gonna have to bleep all of this out. I hope you know. You're gonna have to bleep that out. Yeah.
it's just so satisfying. It's the first thing that anyone learns about any
Yeah.
language.
They're like,
How
oh,
do
so
you
you're not from
swear?
here? Would you like to learn a swear? Yes, please. What have you got for me?
Wait for it.
That's how bikes work. I like how he's just as surprised.
I don't know if it would snap into place.
It's metal. It would just, it's bent this way, and then it would just bend again back this way, and it just, ridiculous. Who broke his toy? Aww. Mom. So yeah, just confirming in the background all the things we were saying. Just not very academically inclined, but very focused on like law and order, justice, short-tempered, gets violent
Yeah.
easily sometimes when he feels like he's being treated unfairly. All things that are very typical of Thor.
Very strong.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't have to wear glasses. It seems like he can hear much better now. Like
It is-
a lot more aware of the senses.
I feel real called out, that's all. Sorry, also really quickly, I forgot to mention. Did she say that they moved away from Edda before?
Yeah, so
And
it
now they're moving
seems-
back?
Yeah, so it
they're
seems
from Edda.
yeah, so it seems that he lost his dad, they moved away, and now they're coming back. That's what happened.
I feel like that's an interesting point to make. It's an important point to make because they're actually from here, which means that everybody's a god or a deity there. That's just a thing.
So they have that familiar lineage.
Yeah.
Hei, Vidar.
Vidar is another god who is the one, I'm pretty sure he was the one who killed Fenris. Yeah, so Vidar was the silent god who never spoke. And he avenged Odin during Ragnarok because he would actually take all of the old worn out soles of shoes that people would throw away and he would use that to make a giant boot. And then during Ragnarok, he stood on Fenrir's mouth and like with the giant soled shoe that he made, like wasn't bitten and like stuck the sword in its mouth.
Right.
I think it's interesting that he happens to have a massive dog as a pet, who is also named Thrym, which is the name of a god that Thor killed because he stole his hammer.
Yep.
This is great. I'm liking this show.
There's so many callbacks.
There's so many. It's just like a who's who. It's just like so many little Easter eggs just all over the place, and I'm picking up all of them. He seems to be getting set up like he's a bad guy, Vidar, and that confuses me. Because Vidar wasn't a bad guy, necessarily.
Well, we'll see. Because they could also be trying to mislead us.
Yeah.
There's the puppy.
Vidar married Ran, is that a thing?
Apparently.
Or are they just... Yeah,
They're married.
there it goes.
Var det Vikings React der? Jeg får første gamle bymerke. Det er en S01.
It bothers me every time a rune or anything heathen-like is mistaken or called Nazi. It really does.
Yeah. I don't even think... So that wasn't the S rune in Younger Futhark, but I don't even think that was used by the Nazis. I'm not really sure.
No, I don't think that one was, but...
The Nazis used the Elder Futhark S rune for like the SS and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I was expecting some kind of like stylized little like swastika or something, because those were also like a rune, and used in so many other places besides just in Nazi Germany. Because Hitler liked people who were blonde and tall and white. That anything having to do with Northern Europe is Nazi, and that's just not the case in the least. Like, even look at Norway. He epitomized, he being Hitler. Hitler epitomized Norwegians and like the Germanic and Scandinavian people, and yet like the Scandinavian countries were completely against him. Norway had constant sabotage and like retaliation against their invasion. Finland even, like Finland had more to deal with against Stalin because Stalin actually invaded Finland, but then they basically used like Hitler's push on the Eastern Front to like retaliate against them, but that, I mean, they still weren't with them or anything like that. They still openly fought against the Nazis as well. It's just stupid. It's just absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating, and something that we still deal with constantly. Even while we're reenacting, people will say, "Oh, you know, the Nazi symbol and stuff." We're like, "Well, actually, no."
Yeah, Nazi or just like white supremacy, because like I said, it even goes back to even just the modern day.
Yeah.
You know, white supremacists will use symbols, and then when they see reenactment groups using those same symbols, they just assume that Viking reenactors are white supremacists.
Yeah.
Which is just not the case.
No, not at all. Or even just using similar ones, because like the Odal rune is an actual rune, but then like white supremacy groups will actually use a stylized version of an Odal rune with like the two little like fringes and the wings on it. So just because like they look very similar, and there's minor differences in what terrible people try to do to an amazing culture, which is ruin it.
Would you, Mr. Trout? We don't know.
YouTubeception.
My guess is there is something in the water.
That's plastic waste.
I'm expecting Thor, like half Thor, to like walk in with his little like seltzer machine.
Oh my god.
Just like, this is just a one long commercial for the Sodastream. Be great. Reusable bag for your plastic bottles.
Den delen av fjellet har tilhørt familien vår bestandig.
Men hva med allemannsretten da?
Ja, det er faktisk sånn at man kan gå hvor man vil, liksom.
a little bit more modern, but that was one of the things that we learned being in Norway.
Yeah, I wish
they do have a free the right to roam.
Yeah, I wish we had that law here. It'd be great. That's like an awesome thing that I like about Norway and a lot of other countries that have that is you can just kind of like go anywhere.
It's a lot of Scandinavian countries, I think. It's not just Norway.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like even Scotland has
Yeah.
it. You know, they're not necessarily Scandinavian, even though they should be, but that's another side political issue. But yeah, it's really cool. And also, I think at least in Sweden, I'm pretty sure, has a law about like giving everybody the right to visit like cultural landmarks and like things like that. So if if you own property and on your property there's like a grave mound or something like culturally relevant to the history, then like you have to make like, or you have to provide like a little bit of like an access way for people to like come onto your land and like check it out basically, which is really cool. Picking up his hammer. Ah yeah.
Det var en YouTube som henger opp sånt for å få fjellet for seg selv.
Oh, it's a last name.
Jeg har vært forelsket i Saksa.
I mean...
So of course, like, such an important part isn't subtitled. I'm gonna rely on you guys to just translate that section for us, please.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know what they're saying. Wait, what if we turn on subtitles on the show? I thought...
Wait, audio English? They have it dubbed?
I don't know, we're about to find out. Nope. But still in Norwegian.
Or maybe it's like Old Norse?
Cause it's all echoey, I couldn't hear.
Hi, are you back already?
Everything okay?
Yes, sure. Mom is cleaning up.
Sorry, this is a game changer, but I kind of also hate it.
What?
It's dubbed.
Oh, sorry. I was so focused on the story I didn't even notice.
Wait, your reaction was to the story? Your reaction right now was not to them speaking English?
Yeah, it was to the fact that the mom was okay. So we're switching languages in the middle of this, apparently.
No, I'm gonna switch right back. I don't like it being in English. It's weird.
Yeah, I like it better in Norwegian, honestly.
You also just didn't expect him to be with him either.
They're setting him up to be so much like Loki.
So I guess that's a point we should make now, I guess.
Yeah.
It is frustrating because...
So Loki was not Thor's brother or Magnus' brother. He was Odin's sworn blood brother.
Yep, exactly. That's one really frustrating kind of takeaway that we get from the Marvel universe, where Thor and Loki are brothers in Marvel, but in the mythology, Loki's brothers with Odin.
Mm-hmm.
They still had a relationship. Like Thor and Loki would still go out and do all kinds of things,
absolutely.
so I can understand why there might be some confusion with it. Absolutely, but by no means were they siblings. They were companions. They were traveling companions.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Just shock her heart back into working. Gets it. So wait, did she just die?
I think so.
Holy...
So it's that kind of show.
Wow.
Alright. Good to know.
Well, now he's going to be doing everything for her, which is great.
Yeah.
Isn't that precious?
Also, that was the Versailles song.
But in general, pretty good. I like how they're setting up the characters. Very obviously, with all the traits of Thor, if you didn't get it by the end of the show, then you're just hopeless. And, you know, like we were just saying with Lauritz being very much Lokian, just playing tricks for the pure sake of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about how they're going to set up the rest of the characters that are specifically named after the different gods.
Yeah, or even just the ones involved with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, because like I don't know what they're planning on with this. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm very interested to kind of see what turns they make or how they progress with the development of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see where this goes. This looks to be a very promising show.
Yeah.
So far.
This seems like a lot better than most of our stupid high school drama shows. So I'm a fan.
Seriously.
I'm a fan.
I think that's all we got for that right now.
So
Yeah.
it's a good show.
Just gonna have
It's
to keep
entertaining.
watching and see what else comes up.
Yep. Again, this is not one that we can really like rank historically or anything because it's not a
No.
historical show. Come on. I dare you. Now you have to. Can you be a little bit mature, please?
Oh yes, is the one that's daring me to do something.
Is somebody awake now? Yeah,
that noise. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified of our future videos. And we will see you in the next one.